spreadsheet. So let's go ahead and we're going to say this is our number of hours. And this is amount of ibuprofen. And that's in milligrams here. So I'm just making headings here. So we know it's every 4 hours. So instead of doing 1, 2, 3, 4 like I was doing over here, I want my table to show the number of hours. So I'm going to do 0, 4, 8. Now I could keep on going forever here, right? It would take me a while, especially if I'm wanting to know really large numbers, like how much is in our system after a week. It's going to take a long time. But the spreadsheet actually will recognize patterns on its own if it is a simple pattern, like just adding 4 each time. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a few numbers. I'm going to highlight all 3 of those cells right there. Okay, so you need at least I think it'll do it with 2, but put 3 to be safe. 0, 4, 8. We're going to highlight those cells. There is a little blue box down here in the bottom. I'm going to grab it, click, drag it down as far as you want. It'll finish out the pattern for you. So you don't have to type in 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40. Okay? So let me do that again. So you'll type in the first few. Highlight those cells. Make sure you don't get hours, just get the numbers there. There is a little blue box right here in the corner. You're going to click on it and just drag it down. And then it should fill those in. Everybody get that to work? If you did not, check with your neighbors, see if they'll help you out. So that fills in our table really quickly. Now, I know that my initial amount at 0 was 400, so I'm going to type that amount in. And so I could manually multiply by 0.33 and find 132, 43.56, 13.3784. I could do that all like I was doing when I was making this list right here, right? But especially if I want to know after 272 hours how much is left in her system, that's going to take forever, right? So we can use recursive formulas in the spreadsheet to fill in the spreadsheet for us. So what this spreadsheet is doing is it's taking the cell above it, which is our a sub n minus 1, right? And it's multiplying it by 0.33. So anytime you do an equation in a spreadsheet, you've got to start off with an equal sign. Okay, so you have to start off with an equal sign. And we want to do 0.33 times, you're just going to do shift 8 to get the little star. I don't think it recognizes it if you just do parentheses. This spreadsheet doesn't recognize parentheses as multiplication here. And then we want it to multiply by the cell above it, which you can just go click on, and it'll put B2 there. It's the cell B2. If you do shift 8, it'll get type it there. Little asterisk there. Okay, and I'm going to hit enter, and it calculates it for me. But I got a bunch of zeros after it. Yeah, I think if I click, yeah, I don't know why it's doing that there. My check mark looks like it's gonna, I don't know why my check mark won't show up. Yeah. Anyway, I don't usually use autofill, so let me show you how to do it if you don't get autofill to show up there. You can also do this, same as we did the other problem. Your formula is in this cell right here, right? So I'm just clicking on 132 right here. See that little blue box like we had on the last one? Drag it down. No, why didn't it work? Oh, it did work. It did work. It just got so small down here that it practically is zero. Technically, it's not zero. Technically, it never reaches zero, but it's ran out of its ability to put decimals there. So once you have your equation in, you're just going to click on that cell that the equation is in.
Mine didn't work. Mine put a 0 on the second
Um,
And then when I double clicked on it,
when you click on that 132 right there, do you have the equation show up right here on this line? Equals 0.33 times B2.
I don't have the 132. I just have the equation in that box.
Did you put an equal sign in front of it?
You gotta click on you gotta click and ask the box.
Have you hit enter yet? Yeah, hit enter. You, for whatever reason, yours is B4, which is still below it, but it's kind of taking it, so that's why it's doing that. So go back up there, erase, click up here, and erase that B4. You can get rid of the B2. Click right there on the front. Now hit enter. And then, I mean, if you do the check, it might work, I'm not sure. Or you can do that little box and drag it in. So you just have, you maybe somehow accidentally click on the wrong one. Sometimes you click on the right one and then accidentally click below it and it changes it.
Wait. I did something wrong.
Yeah. I think what you should do is click on the box below it and hit enter. And so it change your B2 to B4. Click just on the box right here. Take that blue box in the corner, drag it down. There you go. Okay. Alright, so
That's a win.
we would know, you know, really as far as, if we're talking about 400 milligrams of ibuprofen, which is not a really super strong drug, you know, after 24 hours you got 0.5 milligrams in your system. Like, technically it's there, but it's definitely not doing anything much at that point. Think about, for instance, if you were to ingest an illegal substance that you should not use,
Okay.
and you ingest this substance in whatever form that you may do so, you know, obviously it's only going to have an effect that you can feel for a little while. But the same thing is happening in your body. So even though you may have used this particular substance a week ago, and long ago you are not under its influence at all right now, your bloodstream still has some trace amounts of it in your bloodstream. And so as your kidneys filter it out of your system, if you go pee in a cup whenever you get called up here to the office for your random drug screening, and it's only been a week since you participated in this illegal activity, even though you're not still under the influence of that substance, it can still be picked up in the drug test. So it can still be detected. I think they generally give like a time frame of up to a month. Now, I'm sure it varies based on how sensitive the tests are, based on what type of drug it is. But if you were to use drugs,
Does weed get in the bloodstream?
yes. I think up to a month. I mean, I could be wrong about that. Right, you're definitely not still like high. You're fine. But just like if you took some ibuprofen, 24 hours later, if you've only got 0.5 milligrams of ibuprofen in your, like, it's still there. If you pee in a cup and they've got a test for ibuprofen, they could maybe find it, you know. But if you've got pain, it's not helping you anymore, right? It's the same thing with drugs. So it can still be found in trace amounts, even though you're not under its
So
influence
that's
anymore.
what like ibuprofen is like take every so many hours because it's like after that amount of hours it's still there but it's
Right, so you have some after 4 hours, but it's still what's actually what we'll look at next. Okay, so, alright, Macy was just saying, she was just saying that, you know, ibuprofen will tell you to take it every 4 to 6 hours or something like that. So, if Tanya just had like a little bit of a headache, she's going to take some ibuprofen, headache's going to go away, she feels better for the rest of the day, she's fine, this is what's going to happen. But a lot of times whenever we need like painkiller sort of medicine, or in this case it might be like a fever reducer or something like that, just one dose may not be enough, right? Because you might have pain that is recurring, right? So you may be taking this medicine every 4 hours like the package says. Hopefully not every day, or you should try to get that under control. But for short periods of time, it's perfectly fine to take ibuprofen every 4 hours as the package directs. So, let's change our situation. This is almost the same situation. Tanya needs to continue taking 400 milligrams of ibuprofen every 4 hours in order to manage her pain. Her body is still metabolizing 67% of the medicine every 4 hours. This time we have to write a recursive formula that should say that, not that. Represents the amount of ibuprofen in Tanya's body at the end of each 4 hour period. So, for this case, let's think about what is happening, right? So, at, let's do 4 hour periods and amount of medicine. Okay, so at 0, we know she took 400 milligrams. Well, at 4 hours, we know her body is still metabolizing 67%. So for the medicine she took 4 hours ago, she's got 400 times 0.33. Like 132, we already knew that, right? She has the 132 milligrams that's left, but what's she going to do at 4 hours? She's going to take 400 more milligrams. So that is going to give us 532. Alright? So after 8 hours, she's going to have 33% of whatever was in her system at the 4 hour mark, right? So we got 532 this time. So that would be 0.33 times 532. So 175.56. That's how much is left. But what's she going to do? Take 400 more. All right, and so that's going to give us 575.56. And so 12 hours, same thing's going to happen again, right? So you're going to take 33% of the 575.56, which if we do that over here, we get 189.9348. And what's she going to do? 400 more.
So it increases constantly.
Well, I mean, the package says you could do this. I would be interested, though, what's going to happen over long periods of time. And over long periods of time, I don't want to sit here typing all this in. Hence our spreadsheet, right? So, over here on your spreadsheet, I like to do this. If you see this plus sign right here, down here at the bottom, if you click it, it'll start you a new spreadsheet, but you still got the old tab for the old one, so if you need to go back to it, you can look at it. I like to do that when I'm doing several of these problems so that they're all, so I don't erase them, right, if I need to go back to it. So just the plus sign there will get you a fresh spreadsheet right there. But if you need to go back to the old one, you can just click on sheet 1 there at the bottom, but sheet 2. All right, so let's, first of all, let's write a recursive formula for this. All right, what are we doing each time? What is the rule for how I get to the next line? 0.33, a sub n minus 1, because it'd be whatever's on the line before, right? Plus 400. This is neither arithmetic nor geometric, because you are both multiplying and adding. So this means we cannot turn this into a linear equation. We cannot turn it into an exponential equation. In fact, as far as I know, I do not know how to turn this into explicit equation anyway at all. Right? So this situation has to be done recursively. It can't be done with an explicit function that I know of. There could be a way that's above my pay grade, possibly. So hours, amount of ibuprofen in milligrams. So let's do the same thing for hours again, 0.48. If you highlight 0.48 here, drag it down, it'll give you, we'll fill in the rest. All right. Same thing we did last time. Starting value still 400. Okay. Then for our equation, we're basically just typing in our recursive formula, 0.33. But for the spreadsheet, instead of using a sub n minus 1, you're going to have times, and then you're going to click on that cell above it, which for us is B2 plus 400. So we'll do equals 0.33 times B2 plus 400. And for whatever reason, my autofill won't show up. So you can either click yes for the autofill. I think that was working for most everybody. Or you can click up here and drag that down. Yep. So once you type in your equation in that second line, you're just going to click on that cell, take that little box in the corner, and just drag it down, and it'll fill in for you. What's that? Have you got an equal sign? Gotta start with equal sign. You highlight 400 and not the cell below it. Only highlight the cell that's got the
Does yours
formula
go
in it.
like? Does yours go to 597.014925 and just keep? Just making sure I did it right.
Yeah.
Is it good?
All right.
That's too many decimals.
Yeah, what's happening there is it's getting like teeny tiny amounts higher, but it's by like a little tiny fraction. And so it's never, there's going to be a limit there to what it is, probably somewhere around 198 or, you know, it's probably, I mean, your limit is,
So
for all intensive purposes, is
So if you
597.
continue to do what it says on the bottle and take it 4 hours, or take 400 milligrams, 4 hours apart,
Yeah.
then eventually you will die.
It's not increasing by 5 each time. It's increasing. What's happening is sort of leveling out. So you are keeping 597.0149254 in your body pretty much all the time. Now, over time, that might be bad for your body. That's why it usually tells you, like, don't do this for more than a week. But it's not going to have any immediate consequences because it's not going to increase, like, without band. There. You're right. I mean, I have been sick enough that you just about can't because you wake up with fever and feeling terrible. But yeah, it is. But so what happens here for the situation is over time that medicine does not skyrocket, right? She is not a drug addict. She is not going to have 12,000 milligrams of ibuprofen in her system if she just keeps doing this. It stabilizes. It's around 197, and it just kind of stabilizes there. There's a lot of medicines that this is how they intend to work. So now ibuprofen, it's going to have a warning on the bottle that tells you don't do this for more than a week or something like that. Because if you took ibuprofen like this,